So there will always be these deep karmic threads that run through our lives, right? So even if we complete the unfettering process, we are still like subject to the law of cause and effect. So in this way, we are deeply, deeply connected to the reality of human suffering, even though it's not our reality anymore. It's a very strange paradox, but in my view, that paradox is exactly one of the characteristics of deep realization, that it doesn't stay isolated from the world, that there is this disappearance of the realization into the humanness and into the world, and this incapacity to separate enlightened and unenlightened. So it's a kind of like profound act of compassion. And there can be very unexpected tests or trials that are actually part of the way the realization now embodies itself and moves in the world in a very specific way, characteristic to our like unique inclination. And that can include suffering for sure. But it's suffering that is experienced from this place of deep realization, realization of emptiness, realization of absolute. So it's very connected to these initiations that follow the no self event, that really ground compassion in our being. And at some point, the whole process just collapses. It's the reality becomes so non-linear, so kaleidoscopic. This spontaneous liberation, the way it functions, the way everything arises as this co-emergent nature, that you will see that suffering is inseparable from awakening. Without suffering, there is no awakening. Suffering literally is the fuel for the fire of realization. And at the same time, it's not any more suffering at all in a human sense from this perspective. It's like a chosen, I could say, karmic weight that has been transmuted. So suffering really is the way it's not a problem. And there's nothing personal about it. It's not caused by anything. Like from the absolute perspective, it's purely causeless. And it's nothing other than this vast, vast, unbound space. So it kind of evaporates. That's how it feels like. It had so much weight into it, and it functioned with such a precision, karma, suffering, fixations. There was so much existential charge in all of it, but eventually it will just evaporate like a dream, like a mirage. So when you look at it, you can't see anything anymore. You see that it never really was there. It's like a castle in the sky. And for some reason, there is this kind of sweet sadness about it. That keeps like echoing. There's yeah, this scent, perfume of liberation that lingers where there used to be that root holding, and now there is just this immaculate space. And these echoes of the conditioning, of the obscuration, of the fundamental ignorance, these kind of like somatic echoes, they can appear at times, but they really have the quality of a echo. Like, so if you look into it, you can't really find anything there. But that's all that is left from that experience, from that very powerful experience of contraction and mind identification and confusion and craving and aversion and resistance. So when all of that has dissolved in this pure non-substantiality and vivid rainbow-like aliveness, those echoes or residues linger. And that's the beauty of it, because that keeps us connected. Otherwise, it would be hard to have empathy anymore if it would completely cease, the echoes. So the realization would become very isolated and very detached from the human experience and from other people. So it would be very hard to find any kind of bridge anymore. So that's just the way I see it, that this is what makes like genuine vulnerability and humbleness and helplessness in deep realization possible, is that there still are these karmic residues, and without them, yeah, I think we would actually lose something really vital and essential in regards to this experience of love that is embodied, this unconditional love, this redemptive love.